What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Space Engineers. No! What happened here? We have yet another blue dot. What is this world coming to? 2 blue dots in 2 episodes. Pandemonium, I tell you. Pandemonium! Alright. Anyways. So, when we left off in the last episode, we got the new storage area squared away, or mostly squared away, at least. Connected to the hangar and such, and we're going to go over that in a moment. I'll come down here and show this off in case anyone had missed the last episode. I also did a little, just a touch, like 2 or 3 drills over here to open this up a little bit more, make it feel a little less cramped. And eventually, as I said in the last one, we're going to end up kind of expanding this a little bit and doing other things. Maybe putting the grinder down here, a couple of, I'm not quite sure yet. So in other news, for those of you that have been watching a lot of my other series, you already know where I'm going with this. For those of you that don't, well, this is why I do it on every episode. So, had a bit of a life thing happen. There was a death in the family. And it was my mom's I kind of referred to him as an adopted uncle in a way. It was my grandfather's old war buddy. But all of my mom and her siblings and stuff called him uncle, you know, because he was basically one of the family. And so he passed the other day. It's in a way, I mean, everybody's kind of obviously sad about it, but it was kind of a good thing. He was 97 and he really wasn't doing that well. I mean, everybody was kind of like, you go, dude, for getting that far, But, so anyways, my parents are going to the funeral, and again, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in this series or not, but for those of you that may not know, my dog has a medical issue. He has a sore on his foot that he won't leave alone, and so we have to kind of watch him all the time, and make sure he doesn't chew it, lick it, rip it, pretty much anything that would make it, you know, take longer to heal. And so with that, I was, for a while there, I was switching off with my mom, with watching him while I was doing recordings and other things, and we would kind of almost do it in shifts, and with her having to leave, that left me to handling myself, which is fine, but it also meant that I really didn't have much, if any, time while they're gone to record. So with that in mind, I decided to do pretty much all of it at once. Like a couple of days before they left, which, again, timing is going to be very different from what you guys are privy to. So pretty much I did all my recordings in one day for this entire week. So if anything ever comes across a little too, like we didn't get much done, or there wasn't a lot of transitions, there wasn't a lot of pausing and off-camera work and stuff like that, that's pretty much why. Because there wasn't. So, yeah. So that's basically how that goes. I really just brought that up only to let you guys know that there was stuff going on in extenuating circumstances that basically meant I didn't have my typical recording time to get everything done, and so it was kind of packed together, and oh, I messed that up. Kind of jammed together in one day, and so not to expect a whole lot of, like, hey, we got this huge project thing done because I worked on it all day. Yeah, that didn't happen. Like, that wasn't a thing this week. So, hopefully, you know, I don't foresee any reason why the next set of episodes next week shouldn't be back to their typical form, which some of you already have said that's still not enough, but, you know, it is what it is. So, with that said, the other thing I wanted to bring up as well is I need you guys' help on sound. So if anything sounds weird, off, or in any way, shape, or form odd, let me know, because I was getting reports of the sound after each transition would start off really quiet and then go back to normal, and it was, you know, everybody was letting me know, and I'm glad, because that was something I've had to deal with before. I don't know why all of a sudden it's come back. It was a Premiere issue. I thought I'd figured out a way to get rid of it, but apparently not. So I think I've narrowed it down to the denoiser effect, and I'm trying it a different way using the audio mixer. Instead of putting the effects on the actual video files, I'm just putting the effects on the audio tracks while I'm editing it. So if that works, which it seems to have worked, then it should eliminate that delay in the audio. However, I don't know if this will affect it in any other ways, like now the effect isn't the same, or something to that effect. So, you know, just basically keep an ear out, and if you guys hear anything odd, or notice anything that, you know, that shouldn't be how it works, then let me know, and we'll go from there. But I think it should fix the problem. Now, some of you may be wondering what in the world I'm doing. Most of you will probably already know, because it was probably your ideas. I had mentioned how do we move stuff in the last episode, and now I'm not entirely sure if this will fix the refinery thing, but if we move the refinery, it won't really matter. But basically, a lot of you suggested to put a connector on here and repair our driller, and then fly it over, connect here, load up what we can, and then fly down to the hangar and load that, and that would then be able to connect to our new storage system. So that's what I'm going to do. However, I am going to change the step ever so slightly, and dump the ores at the refinery for now. That's the only real difference that I'm going to make here. I did not obviously put a lot of lateral thrusters on here because of space requirements. Actually, you know what? I am going to do that, because I just saw a couple... Well, no, that would get hit by the forward ones, wouldn't it? Well, I could do this. Hold on. I got an idea. Let's do this. Will that work? Actually, I could have brought it in closer? No. Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll see how that goes. And I should have everything on me for that to work. Alright. Because I ahead of time went ahead and grabbed all the parts. So we should have a bit more lateral thrust. Our forward's going to be dampened a little bit, but we already had a lot of forward thrust, so I'm not really crazy worried about that. Another thing that was brought up, I think it was actually in the last episode, but let me make sure I'm turning everything on correctly here. I want that set to off, and then that can be unlocked, and then we should be able to fly normally now, which is good. In theory. Well, I mean, there's still the element of pilot error, but... Okay, so now... Very nice. We can set all that the same way. Now, actually, let me just fix this real quick. We'll select that and then do like this, and we'll select all these new ones and just save the group. So they can stay toggled, right? Is that what's going to happen here? Lovely. Okay. Well, then I have another solution. Hold on. Okay, so the rest of them are off. So I'm just going to turn off the ones that don't have directions, because I obviously didn't rename the... Wait, that's default now, isn't it? Oh, crud. Okay, so I'm looking for left, right. There was a couple up ones I added. There they are. Or that's one of them anyway. Okay, and I think, yeah, I didn't add any other ones. Alright, so now all of my thrusters should turn on and off at the same time. Sweet. Okay, I promise that transition wasn't just to test out my new transition things and see if the sound freaks out. No, that wasn't what it was. Actually, I meant to hit Alt to move my camera around, and I actually hit the Windows key, and it took me out of the screen, and I didn't know if that would actually break anything. Okay, so we have the connector in the drill drone. I need the refinery's inventory. And I can't put it there, but I can put it there. Wait, why won't the refinery go? Why would that go to the... Oh, that needs to go to the oxygen generator, you dummy. Okay. I guess it sucked in everything else already into the compartment. Where did all my stuff go? We got stone, we got cobalt. Where did all my silicon go? There it is. Oh, it's in the connector. It wasn't in the drill, it was in the connector. Uh-huh. Okay. It's still not moving to the refinery for some... And it's not moving here. Okay, what's up? What is going on here? Is it too large to move from a small container? Or a small connector? That doesn't make sense. Connector 3. Wait. Wait, that's orange, so the connector, it moved it into that connector? I'm confused. I don't do a lot of... I haven't played survival in long enough that I don't do a ton of inventory management, so this is confusing me. Where did it go? Connector 3. Okay. So pretty much everything that's coming up in orange seems to be... Okay, so there's the connector drill. Okay, so everything orange is basically the base. So this is in the connector that's attached to the cargo container, but it won't let me move this into the cargo or anything else. So that has me a bit puzzled. Unless... The volume's only 4,000, so it should fit in there. I don't know what's going on here. I really don't. It's not letting me move this to any inventory. Alright, hold on. There's gotta be something I'm missing. Connector 3. Let's try turning on... Throw out. Oh! So that explains it. Alright, now it makes sense. Connector 3 had the same name. That's hilarious. I thought when it said connector, it was in this connector, not that, not that one. Oh gosh. Okay, so it works much better when you're actually using the proper connection. Yeah, much better. That works a lot better. Okay. Wait, where's... Okay, it's going over there, so the glass is still going. Alright, so... Let's see. I guess our next step... Now, the only problem... We're gonna have to use the drill, I think, more than anything. Oh, the passenger seat has a storage limit. I didn't know that. Did I know that? I don't think I knew that. Okay, we can go to the connector, and then the connector can go... Why can't it go to the drill? That's curious. I thought I had the drill connected to it. Unless it just can't fit the larger components? That doesn't seem to make sense. Huh. Weird. That's gotta be what it is, though, because you're talking about a smaller port on the side than the main one. I didn't really perceive that to be an issue. So, by the counts here, we're looking at probably about 8 trips. I mean, give or take. 7, close to, I don't know, something like that. Actually, the ice, though, let's put this in the oxygen generator and see what that does, because that's a lot of volume. If I were an oxygen generator, there you are. So that's a lot. That cut that down quite a bit. And we'll go ahead and put this in the refinery. Pretty much anything we can put in the refinery, we probably should put in the refinery. And this will go in the assembler. We'll take the cobalt and put that in the assembler. Put that there. I think this like, basically I'm just trying to clean up the inventory to where it goes anywhere else but here to cut down on our trips. The the rest of this looks like components we could use into our just storage, and this has got the ores, this has got the actual ingot type stuff. So with that in mind, oh wow, that's 14,000 of it right there. Let's see if we can't maximize our trips a wee bit. So we'll leave the motors till last. The large tubes, the grids, well, the grids aren't too bad. Oh, and this needs to go in there too. Okay. Obviously construction components and all that stuff is fine. That'll come with us. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, that's fine. That's a smaller one. That's fine. Oop. We'll leave the glass for now. We'll leave the glass for now. So that's 8, that's 14, and that's 13. So let's take... I don't know how much of this is... Okay, it won't let me carry any more of those or those. I was trying to cut down a little bit, but that should be fine. So, next up, we're going to test out our new hangar system and make sure it works. We do have to pay attention to the battery time, though. We only have 5 minutes of flight time, it looks like, so can't go too crazy. Now, I don't know, actually, I've never really been paying attention to this, but I don't know if the atmospheric thrusters will actually hurt this or not. I really don't know. Ooh, it's getting dark. I don't have any lights on this ship. Okay, and snap that there. Now, if I turn this on, I'm curious. It should... Sweet, we are getting an input. It is significantly lower, though. It shouldn't be... Oh, I guess it's the sun. Okay. I don't know why this one's getting lower, unless it's just a lower priority. Interesting. Anyways, so now, with our inventory here, we should be able... I should probably rename these, actually. That would probably go a long way to help. So that way I could tell in the inventory which one is which. We're going to make this crate 1. So let's do storage. Storage crate 1. I don't really have like a naming convention for these set up in mind or anything, so we're just going to do it like this for now until something else comes along and seems better. Actually, I don't really need to go back there right now. I can do it from here, can't I? Storage crate 1, and let's grab from here. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So that's one trip. So that's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. This is actually starting to come together and work a little bit better. We've got our hangar that's all connected. We're going to have our storage unit all set up. I don't know why I'm looking in first person. Weird. Camera, hello. Oh, I hate it when it does this. I really do. Oy. Oh. Thank you. Hello. I don't have a head anymore. That's fine. The headless pilot. I'm going to leave it like that. That's funny. Okay. Recharge off, unlock, and back it up. Ooh, that was a little fast. That's hilarious, by the way. Behold, the headless pilot. Okay. It's all fun and games until you gotta park the ship. Okay. So let's do this again. Actually, it shouldn't... Let's see. Let's do these first. And then kind of take as many of those, and it's still going to be another trip, isn't it? Dagnabbit. I was hoping it wouldn't be. And then, of course, we'll have to unload these as well. So that's going to be fun. I really should install lights or something in the hangar, though. I wasn't really thinking about it. I haven't gone in there Usually if I was working, I just had my headlamps on, and it never really occurred to me. Okay. And kerplunk. Actually, I don't need to do that. Oh. Stupid camera. Okay. So we can just go from here and do inventory. Where's storage 1? Storage 1, storage 1. I guess it's going to be alphabetical? There it is. Boom. Oh, right. Helps if you turn your batteries back on when you're going to fly. Oh! What is going on with my thruster here? The turbines are coming out. I mean, I know that's not something I just did. I know that that's probably that graphical glitch that they've had for a couple updates now, but it does kind of look funny after having just smacked into a rock. Alright. So, let's see. Snap this, and give me all of those, and give me as many of these as I can carry. I'm kind of wondering... Yeah, I probably should bring all these back with me. How's the production of these actually going? Oof! Still have 460 to go. Man! That's a lot of glass. And once again, I forgot to turn the battery on. Alright. Oh, one other thing. I just noticed... I was just looking at the Steel Forge thing. One other thing that was brought to my attention, and I hadn't heard of this one before, but there is also another mod we could use. It's another one of those like different kind of approaches to the whole productivity type thing. And that is, it's essentially kind of like the moisture evaporator kind of deal, except it's for gravel. And the idea, now we talked about this before, because there was a mod like this, but it doesn't really work that well anymore. And this is a newer one, or at least it's still functioning. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen it before, so I don't know how new it is. But essentially what it does is you place the gravel drill, or thingy-mabobber, I don't know what it's called. You place it in any voxel, like a asteroid or the ground or something like that, and then it generates gravel, and then it allows... then it basically takes the gravel and sifts through it, I guess, is kind of the idea. And when that happens, then basically there's a ratio thing that comes into play for how much gravel is required to create whatever kind of ore it can find. So it's kind of like a sifting idea, where if you sift through enough gravel, eventually you'll find enough little minerals that you can make one of the other ingots or something to that effect. So like, I think it was like iron and all that kind of stuff was fairly low. It was like, I don't know, like 100 gravel or something. I'm estimating. I don't really remember what the numbers actually ended up being. But it was a lower number because it was just iron, and then stuff like uranium and platinum and all that stuff was like you needed thousands of gravel kind of thing. So there is like a balancing mechanic involved, but it kind of would remind you of the moisture evaporator, but with gravel, and then you turn gravel into other ores, is kind of the idea. So that was an interesting one to me. I thought that was kind of cool because I've heard mixed things about, well, not mixed, but mixed things in terms of the actual productivity of the nanite one and how much it would actually help, because one of the big things I'm hearing about it is in order to mine, it has to be in the areas anyway. Now that could be contributed to it keeps it from being kind of game breaking, because you actually have to find the ores and place the thing and all that stuff. It does make things a little bit more taxing in terms of like what we're doing right now, which is bringing it to and from your actual storage, because it has to be built on site and blah, 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 blah. So in that regard, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I think we can turn all that off now. So sweet, we can park this down here. I need to get rid of that other connector up there and so on, but we're pretty good. We're pretty good. I mean, I obviously still have some things with the glass and things, but for now, until we move our assembler and stuff down here, I think we'll just keep it this way. And that way, if the assembler slash refinery needs to do anything, then we'll be able to, well, basically do it. We'll be able to bring it, bring our little driller ship up there and actually access it. Let's actually check and see how that's doing, by the way. Ooh, 286, not bad. Not bad at all. How's power? Battery 1. It's gone down still, but we are at the lowest point. Battery 4 is getting a little bit. I wonder if this is large versus small battery, too. I don't know. Or if it, because it's further away from the connection, if the closest connection gets higher priority. I'm not really sure how that works, why they're getting two separate inputs instead of being, like, divided equally. But it's working. It's working good. Oh, we got 3 batteries! 3 blips on the batteries. Say it ain't so. Alright. So we don't need this anymore. Voila! And this is just kind of bugging me now that we have a good source of steel plates. This can be welded up. No need for scaffolding anymore. Do I want to fill this in? Yeah, I kind of do, I guess. Why not? Ooh, perfect. Just enough. Okay, so we have everything all welded up. Nice. Except for all this crap. Let's just not look that way. Like I said, we'll leave that there for now. It's a little inconvenient to access stuff, but meh. Oh well. So yeah. That's an idea, though, that I do kind of like, is the ability that you could, kind of like the steel forge, we could plunk it down somewhere and just let it crank gravel away, and then eventually have the gravel sifted through and get ores and things. Again, it's all taste. Some may see that as again a bit more on the cheaty side, because with nanites you have to go find it and place it down and all that kind of stuff. Some may think it's fine. So let me know what you guys think about that, if that sounds too... full disclosure, I don't know how the balancing works. Like, I don't know if that's actually really balanced, or if that's not balanced at all and ends up being, like, you know, completely broken and you can just make whatever you want. I don't really know, because I just read the little description thing on it, but I haven't actually messed with it or tested it. And honestly, I don't know the name of the mod, to be quite honest. Wait, where did this go? Oh, I didn't even think about that. Wait a minute. What is this here for? Is that snapping to anything? Alright, I'm gonna risk something. Why did I don't know. Apparently I thought I needed it in my head. I don't really know what that was there for. Okay. I'm also not really sure what to do about these. Obviously this needs to be held by something, but that just doesn't look good. And to weld it up would probably look even worse. So I'm gonna leave it for now. I don't really know what to do with it. Oh, girders. Why? Now, in some regards, this is actually a pretty good setup to have at the moment, because the forge is still hooked up to this storage container. So we don't have to use the other iron. We can just plug more in here and then have that go to the assembler. So in a way, that's actually not a bad deal. Ooh, we're getting close. Getting close. 110. Actually, that's going much faster than I expected, I'll be honest. Can we do a little bit more? Well, let's just do 100 for now, and then we'll crank out some more iron into there and break that down. But yeah, that should be good for now. Let's check it. Where'd it go? Hello? There it is. 204. Okay. We're gonna throw this in the assembler, and then we'll break that back down once it's done. 75. That's good enough. And then we'll put 75. There. That way we can keep working on stuff. But yeah, so that's something that I'm playing around with in my head. It doesn't actually strike me as a bad idea. Is to use that one instead, at least for now. And then when we get the nanite ones, we could switch over. Now, a lot of people have been hearing me talk about the nanite ones just for hello. Oh, right, I'm in a panel. I was like, this is weird. But yeah, a lot of people have been hearing me talk about the nanite ones as just a, like, just a mod for mining, but it's actually got a lot of other uses, so I'd probably include the mod at some point anyway, regardless. It's really just about whether or not we wanted to use it for mining, because honestly, it like repairs stuff. It'll build any block on a grid type of thing, as far as I know. It used to anyway. And so with that in mind, it's like, well, like this, I could just throw the glass into the nanite one and it would just little at a time work on all this little stuff, and I don't have to run around and do it manually. So that's a really cool bonus to it anyway, that it mines. I'm not a big fan of the fact that it mines, like, basically that it mines, oh, I could just go through and put the glass in here. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? That you have to have it within a range. I know the range is fairly large. I think it's something like 200 meters or something, I think, if my memory serves. So I know there's that, which is cool. And that does give you a lot of room to work. But it is still a little bit limiting in terms of mainly how do you get it back. You know, even if it mines everything within a 200 meter radius, now it's no longer connected to my storage grid, and so I have to fly the drone out and manually collect it, and you're doing all that kind of stuff. Whereas the yeah, words. Oh, it's done. It did it all. What? Alright, so disassemble all of that. But yeah, so it's kind of one of those that if I did it that way, it would change the work, basically. Instead of having to fly out and drill somewhere and then fly back, you'd have to fly out, collect stuff, and fly back. So it still kind of does a lot of the same thing. You'd have to have a power set up for it. You'd have to have found the ores and all this kind of stuff. Now, granted, that may appeal to some people, like I said, because that does actually balance things out. It makes it not super cheaty. So in a way, that may ease people's minds as far as like, yeah, that's cool, we can just do it that way and then that still work. But I do like the idea of the gravel generator thing and then sifting through a lot of gravel to find little pieces of ore, and eventually you kind of get what you need. Even if it's just a starter thing to get going and then you do switch over to some other mod later. But if it's properly balanced to where it takes a lot of gravel and a long time to acquire enough gravel to get like a piece of these higher end ores, I don't really see the problem with it. It's just instead of having to leave your base and go do stuff, you're basically just having it little at a time trickle in and brought to you, kind of thing. I'm a dum-dum. I just broke all that down and then forgot to actually tell it to build anything. Good job, me. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I hadn't really heard of that one. It was a comment on my last video that a viewer suggested, you know, hey, this might help you out. And I was like, oh, never even heard of this one. This is kind of interesting. So I figured I'd bring it up and at least mention it. But with that said, I think we're probably going to be pretty close to wrapping this up without doing more cuts and transitions. I know I'm not getting as much done. I addressed that earlier on with, you know, I didn't really have a whole lot of options there. But because of that, we are running pretty high on time here. So I'm thinking we'll probably finish this tunnel hallway thing off in the next episode, or maybe even before the next episode, as long as all the material is ready. Actually, that went a lot further than I expected. I only grabbed like 100. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so yeah, we can definitely finish this off in the next episode, no problem. But yeah, on that note, I think we're going to wrap things up here. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.